Hello everybody and welcome back to Starcraft 2. Today we have something special. I received coaching from opzesty. He does an amazing job not only teaching the game, but teaching how your mind should work when you're trying to improve at the game. How to get problems in a vacuum, make the game as simple as possible, and make adjustments so you can actually improve and see what went wrong. All his stuff is linked down below. However, without further ado, Coaching with Zesty.
Yeah, so why are you learning Zerg? I guess if you're a Protoss player, where's the Zerg itch coming from?
I play all the races. I mean, yeah, I definitely favor Protoss, just because I'm a spellcaster. I love being able to swap through my units and cast spells. You know, I play a ton of Terran and Zerg too. I just think I click more with Protoss. Like, basically my foundation is gone, as in I don't even know how to start the game. I've gotten a bit better just by watching your stream and kind of mimicking the openings that you were doing, so that way I actually have something to stand on.
Okay, that makes sense. And then it sounded like you said that like what felt like bad for you with Zerg right now is just that you are completely like you enter into a game and you're like, I don't even really know what's going on.
I mean,
like,
I'm doing the old shit, right, where it's like 16 pool, 16 extractor, first overlord sent across the map, second overlord sent to natural. But then after that, where it's like, okay, get info and kind of react, because the game is in such a different state that I'm like, I can kind of see where they're going, but I'm not sure what the Zerg reaction is at all anymore. So
right. Okay, no, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I can say to start with, typically, like, so I think Zerg is a very reactive race,
Yep.
like at its spiritual core, and I think that also that training open-ended reaction is like an actually impossible task.
Okay.
It's just too broad to like go into, and I know, like, I think that most people that teach Zerg and most people that play Zerg, even at very high levels, they kind of cling towards like a strategic purity of like, okay, well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start playing like Serral, like, because that's what everyone
Yeah,
says.
right,
Like, how
right.
do I, like, it's time to play like Serral. I'll just start by saying, like, I am one of those people that want to play like Serral, and also in order to get there, I have abandoned playing, like, trying to play like Serral.
Oh, 100%.
Like right out of the gate. I wanted to drop that on you, is that, like, I think that you're going to have to make trade-offs, and you're going to have to start playing less reactively and more like forcefully. It not forever, but as like stepping stones to get you to those higher levels. So with that in mind, these early, like, what we want to probably build right now is we want to build a plan that we're trying to execute against the opponent.
Okay.
And we're only going to react like if they do something that throws us off of that plan in the build-up phase, right?
Right.
If you're like trying to do like a Ling Bane attack in ZVZ, right? But they 12 pool you. Like, okay, great. Well, now we have to react to their 12 pool because, like, we were going to do a Ling Bane attack at like 27 workers and they're attacking us on 12 workers. So, like, clearly we have to react. And the game might go a little differently. But as soon as we get the 12 pool defense done, we make an assessment. Did we handle that well enough that, like, we're fine, right? Or are we dead? And if we're dead, we can probably just leave the game. Very simplified idea, but like basic concept. Do you kind of see like the 3 tiers of how we're like planning on doing this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're going to establish the plan. We are going to react accordingly while still pushing the plan forward, and that would be a perfect case scenario. Otherwise, there would be a pivot depending on if like we're just straight out bleeding out or whatever. But yeah, I
Now the question is, why doesn't the plan just be something that, like, okay, we're going to go to 90 drones and we're going to macro, right? And like,
Right.
we're going to kill them with like superior 5 base, 6 base macro play. But that's one thing that I hear a lot. Is that something that's resonating with you? You're like, well, why? Or is that something that you're like, you already know why we wouldn't do that?
Oh, I completely know why you wouldn't do that. It's the if you're doing that, it requires a ridiculous amount of game knowledge. It also throws in a ridiculous amount of variables, and then when you go back to the replay, you have to go back to the first thing that went wrong, and then there's a bunch of decision making, and then it's like, well, this is only going to happen one time because of all the context, and there's not a lot to actually work on except for like it's too broad. There's too big of a net. You got to focus on things that you can actually improve at.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Like, it's not that there isn't much to work on. It's that there's everything to work on. Like, you're gonna go back in, and you're gonna have like a 25-minute game, and by minute 1, you're gonna see like 5 things that need to fix, and by minute 2, you're gonna see 10 things that need to fix. And what's more is, by the time you get to like minute 10, you're gonna like start seeing situations that you're like not gonna see again for another 50 games. So it absolutely just casts that net way too broad, and it just becomes entirely like you start living in this theory craft land. And then the other thing to think about is you want the build to be sort of you can pick it up and you can apply it to, like, when you play ladder is super high variance in terms of what are your opponents going to do.
Right.
And so you need to be able, if you want to like be able to get improvement, you need to like have your build kind of stay the same as much as possible, so you can start to build like a real knowledge of your build and how to pilot your build and how to pilot, and like you start to learn how to pilot your race. And so that's why we want to remove all this strategic noise, and like we want to like bare essentials. Like, let's try to do as much as possible the same thing every game.
Yep.
Let's accept that the ladder is going to be highly variable.
Yep.
And then let's like get games over quickly, and then let's go back and let's look at the early build-up phases, which will stay the same. The first question is the first hypothesis we need to work on with you is, how many drones do you think you can like if I say we're limiting ourselves on some amount of drones, how many drones do you think it is that like you can reliably get to, while like if the opponent throws you off, you can still spend your money? But like, and once you get there, like it's maybe slightly more money than you can like spend right now, but like you think that like if we sort of do this over the course of like a couple of days, weeks, whatever, you think you'll be able to very easily be able to start spending your money as well as like a grandmaster player does.
It's hard because I'm rusty, because what I want to tell you, and I truly believe is possible, is 3 base. But what I'm going to tell you instead, because of the rust, is let's just keep it simple and say 2 base and do the 38.
So here's one thing that's fun. It doesn't, you can pick 3 base 66 or 2 base 44. You can pick either one of those answers and you're not locked in. What we're gonna do is we're gonna play a ladder game, and you're gonna go to that like drone count, and we're gonna see how well it holds up.
Okay. So going into this first game,
yep,
the goal will be 2 gas, 2 base saturation, and I'll try to do like the roachling push.
So you want to do 38?
I want to do 38, yeah.
Okay, let's do 38. After speed, are you pulling off of gas?
Not usually. Not if I'm going to do this build, I wouldn't, but maybe I should. I don't know.
Well, let's find out. Let's just play and find out. So now we have a very clear hypothesis that we're talking here, which is we should not be pulling off of gas after we get ling speed doing this build.
Okay.
That's like the main thing that we're going to pay attention to this game.
Should I drone scout since he's random, or do you think just fuck that?
No. Never. Fuck that.
Okay. Got it.
Drone scout gives them power. Don't give them any power. I would send this overlord to the other spawn location.
Oh, fair enough.
Out front, probably, because you care more about stuff leaving their base than anything else.
That's fair. Yeah. think I'm gonna do... Oh, I fucked up my overlord timing. That's okay. But I think I'm gonna do, forlings? I don't have an answer for you. That's just what I'm feeling.
Yeah, sure. We'll do more thinking out
Protoss
after
and
the game.
expanded.
So mostly just do what you feel is right, and then we'll do thinking after the game.
Okay. I meant to build a second queen. That's not bad. I almost missed a hit my hotkey there.
We require more minerals. We require not enough energy. Not enough energy. Not enough energy. Our forces are under attack. Not enough energy. Metamorphosis complete. Spawn more overload. Not enough energy. Spawn more overlords.
Roach Warrens are good. Lairs are good.
Indeed, they are.
Not enough energy. Not enough energy.
Actually, I'm just gonna do this because I'm waiting and we need it anyway.
Not enough energy. Not enough energy.
I'm really interested. Well, that's gonna suck. At least we can get roaches up. Just to salvage what's here, at least we get roaches up anyway.
For sure.
Not enough energy. Not enough energy. Not enough energy. We require more Vespine gas.
I wanted to expand and then I stopped myself.
Not enough energy.
What's interesting is you notice those oracles have never turned on
I know, right?
because theories as to why.
Yeah, I mean, what I call it is, one, it could be hallucinations. I didn't pay attention. But two, I call it too big for your britches. It's where you're doing something that's too high APM for what you're trying to do. I don't know if
Got it.
that's what's happening, but
Yeah, those are actually hallucinations.
yeah.
I pretty much knew they were when the first oracle showed up way faster than any oracle could ever show up.
That's fair. I should have known better too because he had, oh shit, where am I? I should have known better as well, just simply due to the fact that he had a robo.
Yeah. Yep.
Where is it actually? I don't see it. That's fine. We'll just wait till these are done and then...
Is under attack.
Oh no, my guy, what are you doing? Get out of here. Run, guy, run.
Mineral field.
Typically when we see DTs,
Mm-hmm.
OV speed is a huge
Oh yeah, that's
a
a
huge
good point.
necessity.
Spawn more. Our forces are under attack.
Actually, what am I doing for this? Utilities.
We require more Vespine gas.
It's driving me crazy.
Forces are under attack. Mineral field game.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So
So-
how'd that game feel?
Oh, I should have hit rewind. I got to get into the habit of hitting rewind.
Yeah,
it felt
yeah.
like,
rewind is based.
if I'm
I'll tell
being
you one thing
honest,
that's I'll tell you one thing that's good about not hitting rewind is
Yeah.
you can immediately go to the graphs
oh, true.
and you can say, okay, let me make sure my army value is higher pretty much at all points. Let me make sure my resource collection was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like you can start using these graphs to like let you know where you might want to like look at in the game. But let's talk about that in a minute. So you were saying and I cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. You said how did it feel? I said honestly, it felt like shit. And the reason for that is one, I don't think we were equal skill level. If I'm just being honest, I think it was very obvious the DT should have been in the main. It's very obvious. My roach timing was very late. It's very obvious. There was a lot of spots where he absolutely could have done more damage if not killed me. But I took advantage of the fact that, I mean, he's just lower level. He's not making smart choices. And, like, yeah, just knowing the lair was that late, speed was late, it didn't feel great.
Okay, so you weren't saying it felt like shit because you knew your opponent was under
No,
level.
yeah,
You
it felt like shit because I knew how much I should have been punished, if that makes sense. Like, I understand where my shortcomings were, if that makes sense.
Okay, well, where do you think your shortcomings were?
For me, it felt like the shortcomings were, I mean, the biggest two, Roach Warren and Lair. Those were the two biggest, and everything else felt okay. Obviously, like, we could get in the nitty gritty. Seeing this, I should have realized the oracles weren't real, which means I didn't need spores.
that wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a fun novelty.
Yeah.
realizing that. To the point of, like, if we think about what our like objectives were, I
Mhm.
think the first thing that, like, if we look at our behavior, and one thing that we want to correct sooner rather than later is, like, okay, yes, this lair and this roach horn timing, they are kind of important,
Yeah.
but they're not the first things that are important, and more importantly, they're not the first questions we went into the game with. The first question we went into the game with was, do we need to pull off gas or not?
Right.
So that's the first probably thing we should key in on here. We answer that question is, and the way we'd answer that question is, was there ever a point where we had gas that we didn't know what we either didn't know what to or couldn't do anything with?
I think we can't answer that until the Roach Warren's finished and I've started speed and started building roaches, because it depends
Okay, so
on.
let's go see as soon as we could
Yeah,
have a
so
roach
there's
warren and
that.
speed then.
Okay, so that was that speed. Have I started speed? I haven't. Well, I've got roaches. I got 10 on the way, and we're sitting on 200 gas. And if I started speed on time, I'd have 100 gas. So if I was answering the question, I would say no, I should keep them on gas.
So the rubric being, is there ever gas that you have that you can't spend?
I would say,
So if you're floating 100 gas, what is that 100 gas for?
well, this is where I have trouble with gas, because gas comes in very slow. And whenever you're building with a lot of larvae, isn't the small bank, like, not a bad thing? Because, like, I keep getting it down to under 100, right? So And I'm not arguing with you. I'm genuinely trying to work it out in my head.
Well, first of all, you should argue with me all you want, because if you're arguing with me, that's because you're trying to understand.
Yeah.
So don't feel like argue with me. But second of all, keep going.
But yeah, I keep getting it under 100 gas, which to me is gas spent. And if I was attacking right now with speed done, I would want that gas for any reinforcements that I might need, or potentially a couple of Ravengers. So I think keeping it on gas makes sense. I will say the only thing that I question now, which can be answered in the next game if we played one, would be the second gas timing.
Okay. I'll kind of answer both the questions that you had. So like you said, like it seems like getting the under, like, isn't it okay to like float some? What I'll say is you need to like make your attack happen, and it seemed like you made your attack happen and it was pretty smooth, right?
Right.
So ultimately, yeah, like it seemed fine. No adjustments necessary.
Okay.
You will come to a time probably where your attack fails.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you come to that time, then you'll need to ask yourself, was I as ruthlessly efficient as I could have been with the buildup?
Okay, that's fair.
But that time is not now, because your attack just overwhelmingly succeeded.
Right, I'm basically taking the vacuum and, again, opening it and trying to make it more complicated than I need to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I encourage you to, right? But it's not like... So, but my point is, like, yeah, everything was smooth sailing this game. So there's not much to look at, really.
Right.
Like, I think it's worth asking yourself the question that you did, or that we did, coming back to, we said we were going to look at the gas.
Right.
So let's go and look at that gas. And then we sort of came up with an answer. I don't know, seemed fine to me. So,
right.
All right, cool. Then we can go next.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Okay.
The
I will
only thing
say,
is,
and I know this is irrelevant.
Let's try to come up with a question for the next game.
Okay. Question
But
for the next game.
what were you just saying? What were you just saying before?
Oh, this is irrelevant, but this hurts my soul, dude. Send these fucking DTs into my main, you fool.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
And we're not his coach, you know. So
Yeah.
whenever we're
Okay.
Mike's coach, then we can talk about that.
Like, the second I seen DTs, I'll be honest with you, I was like, all right, so this is going to be damage on me. Let's see what I can do. But then he never sent them in. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Okay, anyway, question for the next game. I think, should we come up with a question? Like, if it succeeds, what kind of question, like, what would you pose here?
Me, if I was posing a question for you, the question I would ask is, do we have the correct mineral versus gas resource balancing, such that we spend it all down to a appropriate amount?
That's a very good question. Because I actually, looking back now, I'm like, did I have leftover larva that I wasn't making lings with? And then if I did, was it because I didn't have minerals? Yeah, that's a good question. I'll have to look and we'll have to. Okay. All right. Well, let's queue up. Let's try it.
Let's do it.
Hello? That was weird.
We require more minerals.
I wonder how this is going to line up.
Spawn.
I can tell I'm behind, but it doesn't matter. We're good. Fuck that. I hate that base. At least as a first. Plus, it's just another variable if we take the other base, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's a half base, so it's pretty grunge.
Yeah. So, versus Reaper, I think it's always 4 lings. That's a problem. Well, it's gonna be 2 lings today, at least until a fucking Overlord's done.
We require more Vespine gas.
Ooh, cool. Well, this is a thing. Okay. We got him, boys. The build is working flawlessly. We don't even need to check the replay. Flawless.
I think that your build is really unoptimized and doesn't make any sense at all.
Right.
But I'm coming at that from a Grandmaster perspective. It's not relevant to you and your lived experience on the ladder right now. So, like, what's important is that you ask the questions, come up with the answers, and, like, if you're winning, then the answers are good enough. And at a certain point, you'll stop winning, probably.
Right.
And then you have to revisit those questions and go, maybe I said that this was optimized enough. Maybe that's not true.
Okay.
Could I
like
optimize a little bit more?
You're...
You won, so, like, it's fine, you know?
Right.
Like, it's not... it's sort of results-based analysis, you know?
Right.
But...
You know what? I'm gonna fucking throw a Hail Mary.
Doing a hatch first.
Wait, it's a Zerg! It's a Zerg! Oh god, it's a Zerg!
No.
That was part of it. I'm mind gaming myself. How can he know what I'm doing if I don't know? Don't worry about it. I want the hive one. There we go.
Look at that, we got an earlier Overlord this time.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's gonna sound like copium, but I actually don't hit that very often. It made me sad when I hit it.
When it actually kind of is. Yeah, he took the back base. Wow. It actually, and like, I don't say this to be a mean coach. It is copium. Like, when you say, like, I don't hit that often, but I did.
Right.
Like, the right thing to be asking, the right question to be answering is, like, it's when it's like, I don't hit that often, you want to say, why did I hit it there?
That's fair. That's completely fair.
Because, yeah, like, a lot of mistakes, you're gonna, like, that's consistency, right?
Yeah.
Consistency is the name of the game.
We require more minerals.
Probably have just moved overlords around, but I guess that's not really the question right now, so I'm not too worried about it.
We require more minerals. We require more minerals.
didn't click upgrade. Yeah, this is over. All right, let's take a look at it.
What do you think was the issue?
My gut says to say that it was a droning issue, but the problem is I'm trying to balance just doing the build versus paying too much attention to what they're doing. So it's hard for me to answer because like my gut says it was a droning issue because I kind of needed to see what was happening and react a little bit, but
So recall that like the whole point is well, I guess the question I'll ask, going back to the initial framework, did
Right.
we reach our drone count or did the opponent throw us off before we reached our drone count?
we were just about at it, so no, we didn't reach it. We were thrown
Okay.
off.
So since we were thrown off before we reached our drone count, the question we must ask ourselves is how could we have known that did we have the right number of units we needed in order to defend, and they just weren't in the right position, or did we not have the right units? That's the first question then.
Right, and in this case, it's we didn't have the right units.
Is that true? Let's check. Let's see what's there. Let's go to the actual throwing off part real quick.
So that queen died, but that was absolutely just out of place. So that was an out of a place moment.
So pause. Let's not speed. This is where
Yeah.
we don't want to speed through.
Okay.
So something just happened that we clearly just took the bad end of a trade, right?
Right.
But we think it was avoidable. Let's go back to like before it happened and pause and like start to theorize about like what things could have made this avoidable.
So things that could have made this avoidable that I know would be early game against another Zerg. It's good to have at least a couple overlords in general pathing of where units will go. So
Okay,
maybe I could
perfect.
have had that there first.
Okay, I agree. I think that having overlords in front of the base would be a huge boon here.
And then the second thing would be actually no, I think it's mostly that, because if my lings were split to get vision, they would have died, and then there would have been a free ling, and then it's 3 versus how many he's got instead of the 4, and then so yeah, I think it's mostly the overlord is the answer here.
Yeah, I also think that there's no reason for your lings to be chilling where they're chilling.
Yeah, I try to get no, there's no good answer. You're right.
So I think those lings could have just been in. So I think that the overlord's actually the biggest thing. Overlord in front of the base ZVZ
Yep.
is pretty much like 1,000,000,000% needs to happen. So the very main move out path needs to have an overlord in front of it. So that'd be an
Completely fair.
adjustment for next game.
Yeah.
And then the other adjustment is don't have lings just chilling in the middle of nowhere for that reason.
Yeah. Nope, that's completely fair. So going into this one, same strat. If it's Zerg, put an overlord in front of their base. Okay, I can do that.
No, don't have your lings out in the middle of nowhere.
And don't have my lings out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, that's fair. All right.
We require more minerals. We require more minerals. Spawn more overlords. Spawn more overlords.
That was terrible. That's all right. At least terrible for my standards.
We require more minerals.
Yikes.
We require more minerals.
That Overlord was too early.
More minerals. We require more
I'll
minerals.
have to check that. Oh gosh, you know what one of the problems is? I'll have to face it as it comes. I am notoriously bad at watching my mini-map.
When that becomes the problem that is losing you the game, then you'll
Yeah,
address
for
it.
sure. I know, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Not enough energy. Spawn more overlords. Not enough energy. depleted. We require more Vespine gas.
What's the question that we were looking at that for?
The question that we are looking at is, one, did I miss the lings on the way? And the second question I have is saving that queen, but I guess that queen died because of potentially not seeing the lings again.
Yeah, and I think the even more important question should be the one that we went into. Is mineral gas balancing.
Oh yeah, it's
How's that?
awful.
That's
It's
bouncing.
fucking dreadful. Like, gas is starving and minerals is just like 1k plus.
Yeah, so that's probably the most important question, is figuring out why we had 1k plus minerals and gas starving.
Yeah. Did I never take a second gas? Oh god. We'll see, I guess.
That would be real interesting.
No, I wouldn't do that. Come on now. I'm a professional. Oh my god. If anything, my attack should have done even better. But it's because I... Anyway, focus on me. On me. Okay, hold on. Back, sorry. Okay, back. Even further. Back again.
On the question of... Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is a great example of we did see the lings.
Right.
But we didn't see the lings,
Correct.
right? Okay, so how do we solve this problem? Is we go back to like 10 seconds before we saw the lings on the minimap, and we try to get back in our head. So we watch the game from your perspective, see what you were selecting, and try to get back into Darkslayer of, 10 minutes ago ahead and be like, what was Darkslayer of 10 minutes ago focused on right now?
How do I focus on my camera? I don't remember.
I believe C does it.
Nothing. Ejecting, nothing. Building the roach warren. Yep, feeling good about that. Nothing. Did the links already pass?
So
No,
you weren't
there they are.
thinking... Yeah, there they are. So you're not thinking nothing in game. So
Right.
go back and try again. You're thinking something. Don't think about nothing. Nothing is what you're judging your past self right now,
Uh-huh.
because you're like, you stupid dumb idiot, you're not doing anything. Why aren't you looking at the minimap? That's what you're thinking right now. Maybe it's not as strong as I just said, but it's like that's the general vibe.
Okay, so what I'm thinking right now in game is I'm feeling good because I remembered the lair and the roach warren. I've got the dopamine hit from that, and I'm making sure all of my larvae is being spent as fast as possible. I'm probably checking Overlord. I'm macroing, but
So
my
let's try
mental
this.
stack is all in macro because it's not refined enough. Would be my answer.
So let's pause real quick and let's try this.
Okay.
I heard two things. One is I was super stoked because I got my lair and my roach warren.
Yep.
So I'm getting dopamine from that, and I'm trying to make sure all my larva is spent.
Yeah.
So can we positively associate in our brain whenever I make my lair and I make my roach warren, I look down at the minimap right after I do that as a habit.
That's true. Yeah.
And then when I spin my larva, as I try to spin my larva, I look at my minimap as a habit. Positively associate those two things that you were doing with the habit of looking down at the minimap.
That's fair. Okay, yeah. I like that. Okay. And we moved the Overlord here. So that is one of the questions, and we fixed the links.
The Overlord, the lings are fixed. The Overlord is moved. We did see it. We just didn't see it.
Correct.
So now we're trying to correct the why didn't we see it.
Got
And
it.
it's because we were doing stuff that we need to be doing, but we weren't then looking at the minimap when we were doing that. So let's, instead of being like, stupid dumb idiot, why were you doing nothing and not looking at the minimap? Instead say, what was I actually thinking about? and let me start to positively associate what I was doing with, and also look at the mini map while you do that.
That's, yeah, I think that's very intelligent. Okay, that's something I can work on. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so potentially, okay, yeah, lair or a roach warren or both. Look at
Yeah,
minimap.
either one, right? Make lair,
Yeah,
look at the mini map. Make
yeah.
roach warren, look at the mini map.
Okay, I like that. That's okay. Heck yeah. Okay, that's actionable. We can do that. It's gonna be hard to measure, but we can do it.
Hold up, there was one more thing, and it was very important.
Oh, sorry. Crap.
It was like the most important thing actually that game. No, it was the mineral gas balancing.
Oh yeah, because I didn't take a fucking. Oh yeah. Okay, let's go. I was wondering why it felt weird. I was just like, oh hey, this is that question from earlier. Let me build lings. Like I was questioning on whether or not I just wasn't building lings in the other games or not, and then I'm like, now that I'm looking back, it's like, no, it's this gas, isn't it? We'll see.
We were on one gas the entire time.
Yeah. See, so I need to. I don't have a timing for it. I need to associate something with when to build it as well, so that way.
Totally agree.
Okay, because there's no timing right now. I'm just winging it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your build has been all over the place. All 4 games, your build was very different.
Yeah.
And I'm not. You notice I'm not like harping about it,
Right?
Because, like I said, like it's, are you winning or losing games?
Right.
If you can't figure out how to start winning games by like how you're doing this like this, then the first place I would look is say, try to start to get some of these timings a little more consistent. That would be your first step.
That makes
But if you can
total
just
sense.
be like, let me get this gas, and then all of a sudden this game's a W,
Right.
and that's all you got to do, then go right ahead and like keep on going. But like at some point, it's gonna be a lot harder to just keep winging this build than it will be for you to just sit down and like iron it out. You'll feel when that point is.
Yeah. No, I completely see where you're coming from. But no, you have done an excellent job essentially creating a framework that someone can work with. It takes a lot of the complexity and miasma that a game of StarCraft can be, and it really gives you the protocols and tools to make adjustments and actually improve. I'm very appreciative that you were willing to help me today. And yeah, would you want to go ahead and shout out your stuff, which I will at the beginning of the video too, but where can people find you, man?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest place would be twitch.tv/opzesty. I stream fairly regularly. I don't have a set schedule, but so you have to click follow, you'll find me there. There's a Discord that's linked in that stream. So I'm also there to answer questions and, just hang out.
I'll have that stuff linked below in the video as well. Thank you again for helping me today. And I think what we can do is I will continue to practice this. And maybe next time we can just watch replays and I can tell you my mindset between them.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good. Good luck, man. I think you made a lot of progress today, even. So I'm glad to see it.